Good morning and welcome to Purpose Driven Finances, where our focus is helping you use your finances to achieve the purpose and plan for your life. And now here's the host of Purpose Driven Finances, Allan Molina with Serwus Capital Management.
Hey, good morning. This is Allan Molina, your host, Purpose Driven Finances, President, Serwus Capital Management. Hope you're having a glorious weekend. I tell you, traffic on 8164, pretty busy, even though we are a few days out from Thanksgiving. But be safe out there. I'm excited about Thanksgiving. I finally, before I get into what I finally did, sitting down here with my friend and fabulous co-host, Rich Roth. How you doing, man?
I'm good. What's up, Allan?
Hey, did you get those leaves taken care of?
Nope. Yard's a mess.
Yeah, my yard's a mess too. And my sweeper, I had two on the right side. I think I mentioned it. Two bolts fell out and having to replace them. And I got walnuts all over the place. So I've done nothing. But, Rich, I finally ordered from Maranatha Farms.
Okay.
I'm getting my turkey. I didn't get a whole turkey because my wife was like, we don't want a whole turkey. And so I got turkey parts. Two breasts and some breasts and some legs.
Okay.
That's all I got. She didn't want a big turkey. So I'm like, let's try this.
All right.
So we'll see. You staying around for Thanksgiving?
I am.
Hey, that's good.
I am, yeah.
Do you cook or do you
I don't
farm
cook.
that out?
My wife cooks.
You farm it out?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. I'll cook the turkey, I guess, and my wife Pam, she has a whole bunch on that she's been requested to do.
Mm.
So it's going to be exciting. We'll probably have your favorite. So if she doesn't make that, I'll bring some to you.
Green bean casserole?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It is.
It is so good.
It is.
And we'll have, but folks, have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe out there. Watch out for those. If you're going to boil your turkey in oil, don't do it near the house, please. Please don't do that. Don't do it in the garage. Don't do it in the carport. Don't do it in the kitchen. I don't want to see any videos.
You mean fry it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that oil is boiling.
Yeah.
And you drop the turkey in there and don't be doing that. Rich, what we'll do is I realized that it's been a long time, if ever, we've ever talked about taxes. And people will say, Allan, you're not a CPA, you're not an accountant. You're exactly right. However, A, I need to know from me personally. B, clients ask me about tax questions. And C, it's part of financial planning. And so I want to, we're going to talk about proactive tax planning for small businesses, because realistically here in Lynchburg, there is so many small businesses. It's like there's so many small businesses here in Lynchburg.
Mm. And
I heard that Virginia is one of the highest places for entrepreneurs and small businesses. I wonder if they include the politicians in Washington, D.C. who have, But next week, we're going to talk about individuals. Now, the businesses, it does cover individuals. And so stick around. We're first going to talk about portfolios, what's happening in the market. Rich, I know you run a great company, and you're expanding your digital, which I'm going to hopefully take advantage of. But have you seen the stock market this week?
Allan, my life is a blur this week.
That's what I figured.
Fill me in.
See, that's what I was expecting.
Fill me in.
I figured it would be a blur.
Yeah.
I was hoping you would say it's a blur.
It was a blur.
It
was a blur.
I totally get it. And so it was a blur for me too. Yeah, such a blur. So the NASDAQ at one time, I think, was down 8 or 9% from the highs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not bad. It's not comfortable. On this is Saturday. On Thursday, there was an NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday night. Thursday, it came out, and the markets were up almost 2%. On Thursday, they ended up down almost 2%. That was ugly. If you had any options, you either made a lot of money or you got smoked.
Yeah,
it's a tough day. And you say, well, Allan, why? I'm just pretending I'm listening to the show.
Yeah,
exactly. Why? If you remember, Rich and listeners, I said November is a quad 3 and going into a quad 4 in December. And what does that mean? That means we're going into a choppy, rough road. Does it mean we're going to, fall out the basement? We're going to fall to the basement and below? No, but it's going to be choppy and rough. On Friday, the market was down a little bit, but then it ended up, at least the last time I saw it, it was up really, really nicely. And what's that indicative of is not a healthy place to be, because I know you know this, Rich, and I tell every prospective client, the worst 10 days happen in bear markets. Everybody knows that. But the best 10 days, they happen in bear markets. And it surprises everybody. Like on Friday, I believe everything was 2%. That's not normally in a bull market. It's in a bear market. And so, and what I mean by bear market, I'm not talking about the 20%, official. It's just things in the economy are slowing down that are being reported in November from October, and then December slowing a little bit. So it's really just a time to get defensive, cash flow importance. But if you don't care, and if your financial advisor doesn't care, guess what, Rich? It'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
Just go get a steak dinner. Say, bro, I almost said at a firm. Can you believe that?
Don't do that.
Don't say that, because I got friends at firms. Well, I got one. He's a common friend. He bought me that lock. Great guy.
Oh, great guy.
Great guy.
Great guy.
And but it was another
He knows
firm.
who he is, right?
Yeah, he should.
Okay.
Because he's the one who gave me the lock.
That's right.
Dil-
At the Virginian, right?
Uh-huh.
At
Exactly.
our 5-year anniversary.
I was so impressed. I showed
Yep.
it to clients, and I could go down the road for that. I'm not. Great guy. That being said, I almost said another firm. But if your firm is like, it doesn't matter. You're retiring in 20 years or 5 years, that's fine. But what's interesting is the QPM. It told us to go short, and then it was like, short seems to be over. So we got out before the big move on Thursday. And if we were short on Friday, we would have been down another 2%. So we made a little bit of money. Didn't go down as much, because it doesn't always catch the tops and the bottoms. But, Rich, I always get the question, Allan, why? Clients want to know it. My wife wants to know, well, why did this happen? And I don't like narratives. You ever have employees that they don't do or do something that they either don't do something they should or do something they shouldn't do? You ever had an employee like that?
Sure. Haven't we all?
Yeah, I have. That being said, normally after you find out the why, the problem's already been created or solved. And so with the stock market, by the time we hear the why, guess what's happening? The market's usually gone on. So let me give you the why, though.
Give me the why.
Because everybody wants to know.
I want to know.
Interest rates. On Thursday, two people from the Fed, Cleveland Fed and another Fed, they came out and they came out with uncertainty of rate cuts. And on top of that, they were like, there's a bubble going. I don't know if we should lower rates. And it seems like hedge funds are getting out of treasuries. There's some problems. And the market was like, oh, crap. We just got to sell off. And so it caused some consternation. Number two, Japan's having some meetings. The the Bank of Japan and the government are meeting. And it's very interesting because one of those guys looks like Skeletor. I don't mean that negative. It just, some people say I look like Opie, just a taller version. That being said, the guy in Japan now the problem in Japan, Rich, is I believe their debt to GDP, I think, is 262%. Ours is about 130, 135. Both of them are pretty bad. But the reason Japan has said that they could do it is because the Japanese people are more fiscally responsible and they save a lot more. I think in America, our average savings rate is like 3%, 2%, sometimes 1%. In Japan, it's a whole lot more, and it's a totally different, and so they have a lot of debt. But the problem is the yen is getting significantly weak compared to other currencies. So if you want to trade the yen but use an ETF with some juice, there's one out there. It's a 3x. I don't suggest it. I'm just saying it's out there.
Yeah.
I don't have any clients in it, but if you want some juice in the yen, it's out there. But the biggest thing is the weak yen and causing inflation, and they have a huge urgency regarding their yen stability and market volatility. And the issue is, when you were a financial advisor, do you remember hearing about the carry trade?
No.
What they would do is they go to Japan and they would borrow $1 million, $1 billion, come over to America where they get a higher interest rate. And even if they deposit, they earn money, but they would invest it, and it created a tremendous amount of liquidity, but also volatility. And what ends up happening is if interest rates in Japan go up and over here they're going down, that's not a good situation.
Right.
Because it causes...
Now they're losing money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it causes volatility, not only the FX market, but the interest rate market. And that's a very simplistic way. There's people who are listening who know much more about it than I do, who've probably taken part in it. But that being said, it's an issue. And then there's something called flows and gamma. This is where we get in a little thing. Now, Rich, if you don't mind, look at the chart.
Okay.
Of BMNR.
BMNR, Bitmine Immersion Technologies.
Right. Now, this is a DAT. It's basically a company that invests in Ethereum. And what they do is they try to leverage their balance sheet in order to buy more Ethereum. So if you want to buy Ethereum, you go out there. You should just buy it, the ETF, or buy it spot. But the reason I showed you this, Rich, do you see where it was about beginning of October? 65, I believe.
Let's see. October 1. I'm seeing lower than that. Am I looking at the right chart? 10/1/2025. I'm seeing in the mid-50s.
Let me see. I'm saying the high. Yeah, the high,
It was about 55.
Yeah, the high. On my chart, I have 65, 60. We're both looking at the same one.
Maybe we're not.
I'm looking at 10.7.
Oh, okay. I was looking at 10/1.
Okay.
You said the beginning.
I did.
I mean, come on.
Come on, bro.
Come on, bro. You got to talk into the mic.
I'm talking in the mic down here. What are you doing?
All right. So you want me to go to 10/7?
Yeah, go to 10.7.
Okay.
I apologize.
Yep, 65.
65.
Yeah.
What's it at right now? It should be up at the top.
Man, is that like 20, 25?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that ain't good.
No. So, in the crypto world, I mean, I wouldn't own this, unless you really want. I mean, and I'm not saying we would never own it. I'm just saying it's one of those things. I got all kinds of things going through my head. When you go to a dog park and you got to carry those bags. This is a bag of dog,
okay, fair enough.
Dog poop.
We need the pooper scooper for this one?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And because why would you do this? Because look what happened. It was at 65, the high. It didn't close there, but it was at the high. And it went down to all the way to 25. And the NASDAQ was down in that time. It went up a little bit, but...
And that's in 5 weeks.
Yeah. Yes. That's some bad volatility. And the problem with that is people, when they manage a portfolio, they see something that is done very well, and then they have a bad diversification or over concentration. Like if a client said, I want to buy this, I'd say, okay, 1%.
Yeah.
2%. Because once it runs, it's going to run, but not a significant portion of your portfolio. And remember I said flows and gamma? And we're right at halftime. It's basically as volatility picks up, then what ends up happening is these funds start selling. So, Rich, we're going to go to a 30-second break.
Okay.
Caught you off guard just because you just were endeared with my conversation or bored. One of the two.
Well, I was admiring the chart.
Exactly. So, folks, give me a call, 434-316-0246. Stick around. Let's talk about taxes. It's exciting. It really is.
It's Brian Kilmeade.
Evidently, they not only have a lot of them, natural resources, but they've been hoarding a lot of it too. By far, double the second most who's been hoarding in Vietnam, then Brazil, then Russia, then India, then Australia. We need it. But let me ask you, why are we not in the Congo? Why are we not cutting a quick deal with Ukraine? Why are we not in Minnesota getting our own rare earth? It's national security. You can't tell me there's not reason now to go ahead and do it.
The Brian Kilmeade Show, weekday mornings from 9 to noon on WLNI. And now, back to Purpose-Driven Finances. Here's Allan Molina with Serwus Capital Management.
Hey, good morning again. Allan Molina, your host, Purpose-Driven Finances, President of Serwus Capital Management. Hey, a lot of folks give me a call. Give me a call, 434-316-0246. That's my number. You need to remember it and give me a call. And I would love to meet with you and talk about financial planning for portfolio management. Actually, had an email this past week of somebody who just wants us to do some financial planning, doesn't want us to manage any money, but just do financial planning for them. And portfolio, just look at it and easily do that for you. But Rich, let's talk about taxes. I know people are like, bro, it's I don't want to talk about this, but it's not too late. And in the past week, I've met with two businesses, and I'm not going to share who they are, but they are an LLC, and they elected to be taxed as an S corp. And I know some of you don't get into all this. That's French or Greek or Chinese to you, but stick around because it's astounding if you actually take advantage of the tax laws. I'm not going to say loopholes because they're laws. And one thing that's exciting is in America, 80% of the people are hired by small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty exciting.
Define a small business real quickly.
I don't have any idea.
I'm going to look it up because I think it's a certain number of employees.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot more than most people would expect.
I'm thinking 500 or 1,000 is my guess.
1,000 employees is a small business?
I'm just guessing. But most of the businesses that we deal with, except for BWXT and Centra and Liberty University, I would say most businesses in Lynchburg are small business. And so it's important. And if you're a C Corp, this doesn't apply. But I'm talking about to the mom and pops here in the area or established businesses about reducing your tax burden and going from there. What is it?
General rule of thumb, many people use the broadest definition from the SBA.
Mm-hmm. Small Business Administration.
Fewer than 500 employees.
Okay, my first number was right.
I was going to guess 100.
Right.
But, 500 doesn't seem too small to me.
Right, exactly.
I may be wrong, but
right.
That seems large.
Right. Well, it is large for you. Can you imagine if James River Media had 500 employees? Hey, you'd be paid a lot more, which would be nice.
Would be nice.
But you'd have like several chief executives. But
now the other thing is not the employee count, but the annual revenue.
Right.
Average annual receipts, 1 million to 40 million.
Okay, 1 million to 40 million. Okay, I appreciate that.
40 million, small business. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well.
But that being said, and I appreciate that. It's a great question. And you answered your own question. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's good. Now, remember, I'm not a CPA. Talk to your CPA, that disclosure. But what?
Whatever that disclosure is.
Yeah, talk to them. This is an estimation, and I've run some numbers, and I'm going to get through the high points real quick. Now, LLC, that's the legal entity. You elect S Corp for tax benefits. And what ends up happening is in an S Corp, it splits your income between a salary and distribution. Now, here is what people usually do in an LLC is all of the money they take out, they get taxed as salary. And the issue as an LLC taxed all of your salary, you pay two taxes. You pay the 15.3 payroll tax, and then you also pay your income tax.
Mm-hmm.
It can get pretty high. With an S corp, you set yourself up with a reasonable salary, and then everything beyond that, as an owner, you pay yourself, or your company. Or it's really your company paying you. I mean, you own the company or part of the company, and then what happens is that pays you a distribution. We're not going to get into what happens if you leave money in it and things such as that. We're just talking about taxes and how it benefits you. Now, one thing at Rich I've seen is a lot of LLCs, taxes and S corp, do not pick a reasonable salary.
Why?
I don't know. And the problem that I have, and
You mean for owners?
for owners,
Owner
Right.
employees, yeah.
and because what I find with people is, if what they do is I want to make as much money as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
So they set their salary really high because it makes them feel good. But it's not the smartest thing to do. So what you need to do is, and what I suggest to clients doing, and I did it for myself, is I went to the BLS. Now, what is the BLS? It's the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And you can actually go down to Central Virginia and get the average salary in your income, not in your income, in your whatever kind of work you do.
So what you're saying is you want to be in that reasonable range.
Exactly.
You don't want to be too low. You don't want to be too high.
Exactly. And the research I've done is the local benchmark. You could probably get away between 36 and 48,000, maybe 75,000, somewhere in that range.
For what?
Your reasonable salary.
For who?
The owner.
The owner of a business, regardless of what it is or how much.
This is just a survey of everybody.
Okay.
Now if you're rolling $40 million and you have 500 employees, you probably can't do that.
Yeah.
But we're talking about what is your reasonable salary compared to everybody else in the U.S. government, and Virginia calls us rural. So don't compare yourself to New York.
Right.
And the two companies I met, it would be, from a glorious standpoint, let's compare ourselves to Northern Virginia or New York. Don't do that, because all that's going to do is make yourself feel better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal here is to lower your tax bracket. That's the key. And so owner distribution, it comes from two areas: taken from profit, and it's not payroll taxed. So I'm not going to get in compliance requirements. They can talk to their CPA about that, and that's boring. Okay? So here's
Be nice to the accountants.
No. The IRS, the rules are boring.
Oh, okay. I thought you said talking to your CPA was boring.
Oh, no. The compliance requirements are boring. CPAs,
I know a lot of CPAs. I don't want them yelling at me.
Oh, exactly. Now, I will say that CPAs, if you are proactive in helping your clients, call me. Because I would say 75 to 90% of people I talk to about their CPA, they're like, all they do is my taxes. They're not proactive. Like, there's things that my CPA was, when I started the firm, we used not a giant, but for Lynchburg, a big firm.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't help me. I had to learn about the S corp on my own.
That's no good.
Yeah. So
What am I paying you for?
to do my taxes, So that being said, if you as a CPA or an accountant really are proactive at helping your clients, let me know, because I want to send people your way. So, Rich, what I did is I made a glorious spreadsheet. Oh, is this not glorious? It's color-coded. It's boxed. It's just glorious. And it has two different owners, two different tax brackets. We're going all over the place.
All right.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
So check this out. Did you know that if you are in a business where you get tips, you should start doing tips from us clients to James River Media? Because up to $25,000, you're not taxed.
No tax on tips.
Right, up to $25,000. Now, if you have a really, really high income, it does reduce, but that's a really good thing.
Should we put a little tip jar here in the studio?
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
Just tips. And,
Upstairs.
Yeah.
You know.
Or anytime someone walks in, it's minimum 20%.
Exactly.
Right, 20%
Right.
good. 30.
Right. When they pay your bill, what you should do is have that little box. Which tip, 20, 15, 30%, 40%?
Oh,
That joyous occasion.
don't get me started. on
Exactly,
that.
exactly. But check this out. This was the same for both companies. And so I'm not trying to use either company's information. I just do general here. This one person, they had a higher tax bracket, and all of their income, 100% of their income, they went through the self-employment tax and the income tax. And their tax bracket was 39.29%. That's pretty high. And so instead of let's say their income take home, their total income was about $130,000. Their eventual total take home was about $78,000.
Wow.
That's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's take this money and totally make it an S corp, and their reasonable salary is $48,000. Their take home was $93,000.
It's a big difference.
Huge difference. Their effective tax rate went from 39 down to 28. That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. And they took home almost $15,000 more. So, folks, you're listening on the drinking your coffee, and you're like, "How does this apply to me?" I got a question. Could your household use an additional $15,000? Would that be a benefit to you? I'm just asking. Some people it might be a tip jar, but other people, $15,000 is a lot. Now, another person, their income was a little bit higher, about $152,000. Their effective tax rate was 37%, because the reason being is their total income was lower than the first person. And so what ends up happening is their take home from 151 was almost 95,000, because what they did is they took their income and they paid the payroll tax and their ordinary income, their AG, the tax on the AGI on the total amount. So that's a big difference. Now, if they did the same reasonable salary at $48,000, and I personally checked this through BLS, and $48,000, their effective rate went from 37 down to 27, and they took home almost an additional $16,000. That's dramatic savings. Now, my question, Rich, you can't answer this. You might. You're very knowledgeable, and
Hi, I'm Rich.
Yeah, you're rich.
Maybe you don't know me.
Right. But that being said, when you look at this, I wonder how many small businesses are not taking advantage of this. And you say, well, it's past the 2 or 3 years that I can do the clarification. I did mine late because I didn't know, and I sent a letter to the IRS saying I apologize. My CPA dropped the ball, and and that was in 2012, and the IRS has been just fine with that. So, folks, my suggestion: if you own a small business, give me a call, and let's talk through this. And if your CPA or your accountant is not helping you, let's find you somebody that will. I have two accountants, two CPA firms that I deal with on a regular basis that are very proactive in helping their clients achieve the purpose and plan for their life. Now, Rich, any questions that come to mind about all this? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Does it make a difference if there are multiple owners?
It doesn't, because what you do is this spreadsheet is from 2 owners, and their income was split up at different percentages. And so all that happens is each owner gets a commensurate salary, and then what ends up happening is it goes from there. So, folks, give me a call, 434-316-0246. Hope you have a blessed Thanksgiving, and I look forward to your call next week.
Returns for illustrative purpose. This is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or use a platform. Only will a suggestion occur after a meeting to determine goals, risk tolerance, and time horizons. Investments involve risks and no guarantee of future results.